What up? What up? It's another episode of Blerd Talk, man. Listen, this is your boy Chris Lee. If you like anything dealing with blerdom, anything dealing with just pop culture, hip hop, music in general, movies, comic books, anime, man, you are in the right spot. Make sure y'all subscribe to my channel. You can find all of my content on the Blerd Talk on YouTube, as well as the Kickback Universe on Facebook. Now, let's go ahead and jump into this. It's been a while since I've been MIA. I've been going back to school and working full time and being a father and a husband and a whole lot of excuses that you don't care to hear. But let's jump right into it. So this episode, we're talking about the big shakeup with Xbox. Now, I know a lot of you that may be listening may be Xbox players, gamers, or you may own the Xbox, your kids may own the Xbox, and you may not have been following the news closely, but I just got this alert sent directly to my phone, and I just saw that Mr. Phil Spencer is stepping down as the CEO of Xbox. Now, a lot of you who are in the gaming community, know how much of a heavy hitter Phil Spencer is. Now, Phil Spencer has been pretty much the driving force of this new Xbox initiative, this new Xbox journey that they're going on, as far as the whole, you can play the Xbox anywhere. Anything could be an Xbox controller or console. Your phone can be a console, your computer, your tablet, your TV, anything. You do not have to own an Xbox console in order to be a part of the Xbox community. Now, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to speak on that. Let's put a pin in that, because I believe that was part of the demise to this big juggernaut of a brand as Microsoft's Xbox. But we're gonna circle the block on that one. And then also the successor to Mr. Spencer, who would have taken his place, who would have taken the rightful spot. Obviously, she was next in charge. Miss Sarah Bond was the next up that was going to take the bull by the horns, if you will, and she was gearing and being groomed to be the next one up. Now, that would have been incredible for so many other reasons outside of just being gaming content. For starters, for women, hey, you are a female who is driving the entire brand of Xbox, if you will, as well as an African American woman who is now leading in charge. That would have been so monumental as far as a political move, or as far as promotion, or as far as pretty much like greasing the wheel for those who may not be gamers right offhand. Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean she's a token child by no means. She has definitely been pulling her weight and definitely been putting in some great initiative and some ideas. She even co-signed on this whole idea of gaming anywhere. Now, my thing is, with him stepping down is one thing, because he's been getting a lot of flack about the direction of Xbox and where it has been going, especially when Xbox has been shipping off their first party titles over to the enemy. Like, why? Like, PlayStation now has access to games like Forza Horizon, games like Sea of Thieves, now Indiana Jones. Now, I'm hearing that they're going to get, if they haven't already, have access to Gears of War. Now you're talking about possibly Halo and future titles to come. Now, don't get me wrong, PlayStation been playing ball as well. They've been sending some games over. I want to say I saw Black Myth Wukong on there as well. So and Sifu and some other good PlayStation titles. So I'm pretty sure they're playing buddy. But the reality is the console wars has been how both of these consoles has stood apart and created their own communities in order to pretty much make a bank and make a living off of their dedicated communities. Now, so with both Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer stepping down from Xbox, it's starting to raise questions like, what's really going on here? Now, I personally believe that there was probably some meetings and some board meetings and some shareholders probably had some concerns about the direction of Xbox, because Xbox has been very quiet, and they don't like the direction where it's going. So the next thing they could do is clean house, but they want to clean house with Diddy, right? They want to, they don't want to chop their heads off like they done with the other studios that they pretty much brought on only to cancel, but they wanted to do it with Diddy. They want Phil Spencer to go out with his head high, as well as Sarah Bond goes out with her head high. They wanted both of them to leave with their careers intact, but we all know what it is. The writing is on the wall. Okay, so when both of them step down, both of them walk away, it's got to be something going on big and major. Now, in this article, it doesn't really explain as to why they stepped down. It just pretty much hits you with some jargon. So for starters, Microsoft CEO Phil Spencer is retiring. Xbox President Sarah Bond, long considered for the person to one day hold Spencer's job, has resigned from the company, as reported by IGN and later confirmed by official Xbox announcement. Now, this is directly from the source. This isn't no rumor. This isn't somebody chattering. This is directly from Xbox itself. So something big is happening right now. The president of Microsoft's core AI product, I want to say I'm saying this right now, Asher Shermer, will now work in Spencer's formal position as the new gaming CEO. So as part of the major shakeup, Xbox Studios head Matt Booty has been promoted to Chief Content Officer and will work closely with Sharma and within Microsoft Gaming. Now, with that being said, this is something that's different. They're definitely going in a different direction. It's obvious that they're moving in a different direction, and they want to give this new kid on the block, or who've been around for some time with the AI first platform and tools and apps, been pretty much around for a while. They're basically giving a new take on what Xbox is trying to do. They're giving it a new direction. Now, this is something that is needing to be taking place with Xbox, because Xbox seems to have lost their identity as far as who they are in the gaming community. PlayStation is definitely hold tight to the whole story first or story driven narrative. That has been their bag. Story driven games has been something that, PlayStation has been iconic and known for. Games such as Last of Us, games such as God of War, and all these other first-party titles that they've been giving you. Days Gone, Death Stranding, all these phenomenal first-party games that they've been putting out that has been given such a great incentive to the PlayStation brand. Now, with that being said, Xbox seems to not have that sort of identity in the gaming community. Xbox has been pretty much like, the college kid, your oldest child or your middle child who's a college, connoisseur. This year they major in fine arts. Next year they major in business, and this year they major in whatever. They don't know what they major, so they're never going to graduate college, but you love them to death because they're so bright. They got a bright future, their potential, but they just have not quite yet tapped into it. And that's kind of what you're getting with Xbox. Xbox seems to have not yet tapped into its full potential, and that's something that is interesting, because I find it that Xbox have all the tools in their toolbox to be something great and to be something grand, but the reality is it just has not taken place. Now, one thing I will say with Xbox, what Xbox could do moving forward, is definitely change up the whole narrative of the games that they're trying to present. Now, I don't know about you, if you're an Xbox console owner, if you have Game Pass, if you're anything like myself, I find myself on Game Pass some days when I'm just bored trying to figure out what's next to play, and I find myself in a scenario where I see maybe 4 to maybe 5 real prominent titles that is, hey, worthwhile checking out. Hey, I might check this game out. This might be interesting, and it might be really good games, but then you have a whole lot of maybes, right? A whole lot of games that looks cool, but it's like, do I really want to put hours into this? It doesn't look, it doesn't look like something that'll catch my eye, Maybe when I'm really, really bored, I might pick up this game. But even then, there's so many alternatives out there. And then the majority of the catalog, almost a good 70% of the catalog, are no disrespect to the game developers, because we all work hard in that craft, and we all take care of our babies and very sensitive about that. So I don't mean this by no ill will, but listen, I'm 37 years old, and I grew up in an era when you had 8-bit games and 16-bit games, when you had games like Contra, and you had games like Tetris, you had games like Sonic, and games like Super Mario, and all these other games that seem to be, for what it's worth, the graphics was 16-bit. Back then, it was phenomenal, right? Because you didn't know what it can be compared to until the Sega Saturns and the 64s and the Sega Dreamcast and all these games starting to come into flourishing. Then you're starting to see, oh wow, these games do suck as far as graphic goes. But then now you look at these developers now giving you games that looks cool as far as the thumbtack or the tile or the imagery of the game cover, but then when you go to click on the gameplay, it's 8-bit, 16-bit games and side scrollers. In 2026, with all due respect to the developers, we need no more of those games. I mean, I'm not one of those guys who follows the cult following and is like, oh my god, this game is so great. Listen, I've went through the grunt work of going from 16 bits to 420 for 320 or 420 whatever to 720p the 1080p. Now we have 4K. Like, I want to enjoy 4K. I want my games to give me 60 frames per second, 120 frames. 30 is like okay, hey, if the story is good and the gameplay is good, man, I go with it, right? But we came too far along in life to be still looking at 16-bit games and we're trying to tell ourselves, oh, this is a phenomenal game. No, it's not. It's not. It's I'm sorry, it's not. And you got a lot of those games up there that you have other content creators praise. Oh my god, the game is so awesome. No, it looks like a game that I could play on Game Boy Color or a game that I could play on Nintendo. I do not want to relive that. I don't care how great the story is. I'm not going to get past the graphics. My eyes is beady as is. I'm old. My eyes are bad. I don't want to be looking at no 16-bit. I don't want to do it. Don't want to do it. Can't make me do it, And that's what most of their games are, is that. And it's so heartbreaking because it's like your platform has, no disrespect, again, mobile phone quality games. Like these games that I'm just describing could be mobile games, and put that in your mobile sector, right? Because I know y'all moving into the whole mobile world out there as far as gaming goes, as far as Xbox. Put that on their library. Let that be their games. For the most part, can you please flush out those games and bring in some titles that is worth playing? Because Xbox has been pretty much held up by duct tape and paint, and you can't put makeup on a pig, and that's what you're getting. Now you do have the first party title games, the first day one release that do come out. That's pretty cool. Like when Grand Theft Auto's on my mind. That's the next topic. But when you have games like Call of Duty, that's day one release on Xbox, that is a major shift. That is you own to something now. Like that's one of the biggest games in the world, and most casual gamers play games like Call of Duty, 2K, Madden. Those three are the big three. Like that's the big three for your average gamer. And I'm talking about average gamer, I mean those who probably who just casually play. Like I got a whole lot of homies, a lot of homies in the streets, you know what I mean? Hey, that's what they play, those three. You might have a fighter in there somewhere, but those three are the ones they go to because you make money on them. They bet on them and they have parlays on them, whatever it may be. But those are the games you have. Outside of that though, the real gamers, right? The ones that are like really into the community and bought into the brand and the mission statements. Listen, man, like we look at this like, okay, you got the Call of Duties day one. That's awesome, right? Thank you. You have the Halos, that's day one. The Forzas, that's day one. Cool, I love it, thank you. But outside of that, right, it's like, what else is there? Even those first party games that we're naming are still technically third party, because that same game's released on the P5, that same game's released on the Steam Deck, that same game's released on PC. You know what I'm saying? Now, for God's sakes, I want to say it's on the Switch now, if I'm not mistaken. So there's no exclusivity as far as the Xbox console community. And the thing about Xbox community, they buy into a brand to have that VIP treatment. Like, this is what is offered over here. If iPhone was to sell their tech to Android and you can get the blue bubbles and the FaceTime and all that on a Galaxy, then that will cause a rift there. That which means most people probably would never convert over to an iPhone because they get the same experience on an Android. Vice versa. If Apple has some of the components and some of the selling points of a Android, then they would not cross over to an Android. So you get my drift. Like, they're not going to move over to, you know, your stable. If anything, they're paying $60 a pop for your games versus your consoles $300 to $400 a pop. I'm not great with math. I went to public school here, but I think you make a bigger bang off of selling the console. Yeah, you can sell the games themselves, sure, and you can make a ton of money selling those games, but that does not keep your stable alive. That pretty much you're becoming a studio instead of a console itself, right? Xbox is going to become a studio. No more consoles, no more nothing to put your games on. You're gonna have a studio that makes games. You have like almost like a mega studio with many studios underneath, and now you're going to see the Xbox logo welcome title on your PlayStation, because now you're playing Indiana Jones, and now you're playing Halo, and now you're playing Forza Horizon or whatever it may be, and you got the Xbox brand on your PlayStation, and that's as far as Xbox will go. It's just being, hey, a studio that prints out games for a PlayStation and PC, and it's not really a good look though, you know. It's one of those things where Xbox has to have some sort of identity, and they do not have that. Like, for example, PlayStation has Spider-Man, right? That's Sony's Spider-Man. They also have God of War. All the lore behind God of War is crazy, right? You have Death Stranding. You have games like Last of Us, who now got a TV series. Come on, man. Like, you have these consoles, these games that power this consoles that's such a huge cult following that's bleeding off into other medias and coming up with movies and spin-offs and TV shows and all this other stuff. Like, it's really fueling back into the PlayStation stable, if you get what I'm saying, right? So with that being said, PlayStation kind of have its niche. Like, hey, you want to play God of War? Well, you gotta purchase a PlayStation. You want to play Last of Us? You gotta purchase a PlayStation. You feel me? There's no app you can download where you can stream PlayStation games without the PlayStation. You're gonna have to buy this console if you want any parts of what this is here, right? And PlayStation are giving games over to Xbox as well, but you better believe you're not going to see Spider-Man there. You're not going to see God of War there. They'll go ahead and give you seafood. Seafood is a brand new title. Like, don't have a longevity as these other games have. Sure, you can have that. Black Myth Wukong, that game just came out. Like, sure, this is a brand new studio, a small studio. Hey, maybe this will pay off rest of their contract, whatever. Like, here, take it. Like, this is nothing. I'm losing nothing. So, but you're giving your haymakers. You throwing this like your bread and butter. You got Forza up there. That's your bread and butter. You got games like like I said, Gears of War. That's literally your bread and butter. That's one of the pillars of your consoles. What are you doing here? So it's like you're literally giving the best of the best what you have to offer, and PlayStation is like looking around, I ain't get you nothing. Let me see what I got around here. Like, okay, you can have this, and that's kind of what that scenario is. And Xbox is so desperate to stay alive in the community, they're taking that deal, which is why I believe, personally, in my opinion, why they have made that quote unquote shakeup, and now they changing directions, because right now it's not looking good at all. Like, have you heard any new titles from Xbox that seem like it's worth anything? I know they just had a Players Direct or whatever, but I haven't heard anything that's like, other than Fable. I will give you that. I give you Fable. Like, I've never played Fable, but oh my God, I am excited to play Fable. Like, I am like, yes, drop this game, please. Like, I don't give a damn if it is on PlayStation. I have both PlayStation and both Xbox, Series X and the P5. And I'm still going to play on the Xbox, because that's what it was meant to be played on. Now, I'm a diehard PlayStation guy. Now, anybody who tell you, who knows me, know I am diehard PlayStation through and through. I roast Xbox users for years. I mean, I cooked them for years. But I have to give credit to what credit is due. When the Xbox Series X first came out, along with the P5, they had some lineups, man. They had some lineups. You had the Forza, you had the Halo, you had other games that was announced, like State of Decay 3, which I have played that before, which I was excited to play that. Then backwards compatibility, which means I could then play one of my favorite games, zombie games of all time, Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. So now I'm kind of buying into the brand again, because I've had an Xbox 360 back in the days. So now I'm buying back into the brand. So now that I'm bought in, I have the Xbox, I have the expansion card that's almost like $300. I have the extra controllers, I have the stickers. I am bought in now. I got the pamphlets, like, I'm here. You won, Xbox. What's next? And Xbox like, oh hold that thought. I got some great titles coming out. When? Well, don't know when, but they're coming. So it's just one of those things where, like, what have you done for me lately? And Xbox has seemed to really been dropping the ball when they just, like, you shouldn't be dropping the ball. Like, you put so much eggs in this Starfield game, and Starfield is supposed to be the greatest game of all time, and all great details, and building ships and exploring galaxies and all this other nonsense. And then when the game comes out, the game is flat, it's dull, it's boring. Believe me, I was one of the ones that was desperately waiting for that game, and when I got my hands on it, maybe the first 2 to 3 hours was like, okay, this is interesting, this is pretty cool. But then after hour 4 and 5 and 6, and after giving it a good hearty try, I'm like, you know what, this is flat, this is not it. It seems almost like I don't know, Mass Effect ripoff, right? Granted, it's in the same studio of Mass Effect, not sure, but this is just not it. This is not it. So Xbox said to continue to drop the ball with other games that they promised that would be such a great addition to their stable. Then when they drop them games, and then when you play them games, you then realize those games ain't as what you thought they were, and it's just very disappointing, And as Xbox continues to swing and miss, but with great intentions though. They have great intentions to give you great content. They're not just deliberately giving you terrible games. They're not trying to give you terrible games, but it just don't work out for them. It don't work out. And it just seemed to where, as of right now, they're panicking. So now you're changing up leadership. Now, what's the next big move? Now, what is the next move? Because now we done shake up leadership. Now we got all eyes on us now. What are we going to do now? What's the next move now? What's the next big reveal that's going to get everybody back on the ship? Fable? Fable can't hold the studios on the shoulders alone. You have other good games as well. You have the new Halo that's coming out, but that's not enough to hold the studios on their shoulders though. Because remember, you was praising the last Halo like it was the best thing since sliced bread. Now, personally, that was my very first Halo playing. Did I like it? I thought it was pretty damn fun. Thought it was fun. I don't know nobody's complaining about. I never played anyone prior to it. But then when I listened to the community, I'm like, oh well, there's a lot of things that they're explaining that was not in this game, or they didn't explore, that would have possibly seemed more interesting. And then, the replayability of that game dwindled. You had a multiplayer online game very similar to Call of Duty, and it seemed all right at first, but then it was just like, it's like a Call of Duty clone at that point. Then you just like, I just can play the regular one. I can play the original. Why would I be on this? With very limitations on what I can do. So it's just one of those things you get there when you just kind of realize you're kind of having what you call an identity crisis, and just one of those things where they don't know who they are anymore. They don't know who they are. They just like, hey, let's just get some people playing this console. Man, don't worry about the console. Just download the app on your phone. I just need the numbers to show up over here and show the stockholders that there are many people on the Xbox platform. By all means, their subscription ain't nothing but $30 a month. And that's another thing. You raise up the price on Game Pass. There was once upon a time, people, where Game Pass was $14.99, and I'm sure it was lower before that. But when I got onto the ship, it was $14.99. Now, if you got it from GameStop with tax, you're looking at about $16. But even though $16 for thousands of great titles was quite a deal, that was part of the reason I bought into the community. I bought into the brand because now I have multiple games at my fingertip, and I do not have to make the decision on purchasing these games because I never played them prior. And being a PlayStation fan, this is a great way to win me over because now I get to try out all of your latest, greatest, or your classics or whatnot, and just really dial into the whole community. I even got a Series S for my son because you know what? It's the most economical purchase, because now the game is the console was $300, and I got 2 controllers, and now I got a monthly Game Pass. At the time was $16. Now my son got thousands of games at his fingertip. You know how much money I'm saving there? Your average game is about $49.99, if not more now. Now there's $70 for big titles, AAA titles. So now I can get my son $16. He can try and play and fail and try and play and fail whatever game he desires and find his favorites and whatever it may be, and all is happy and all is great in the world. Great sales pitch. Great move. Great move. That PlayStation did not know how to handle that, so they tried to come up with their own subscription, and it sucked terribly. Trash. Terrible. Keep it to yourself. You know? And Xbox was winning. First party titles, day one releases. Like, you couldn't get any better than that. For $16.99, you could not get any better. You got your online multiplayer games. You got access to your online. You got party chats. You can game online in general. You got free games they give you per month. You got trials with games like EA. You could try the new Madden before you purchase it. Now, mind you, the Madden ain't but maybe 6 hours long as far as the story. You get 10 hours to play it. Wink, wink. You can beat the game. Wink, wink. Within your trial. So that's kind of a win there, right? So then you have also Ubisoft Plus included as well. So now you got all the Ubisoft first party titles and classics as well. But then all of a sudden Ubisoft made a branch off and got their own streaming services, and you're like, okay, well, then there goes that. And then now you got EA still giving you these games to try out for trial. Cool, I still have that. But then all of a sudden the price rises. It's no longer $14.99, $16 with tax, depending on the state that you're in. Now the game is now $20, $20 now plus tax. So depending where you are, you're looking at maybe $22 to $24 a month. Not terribly bad, right? That's not that bad, right? Like, okay, $24, all right. And that's, okay, I mean, I can deal. Netflix went up too, so cool. You know, you are giving me first party titles. You did acquire Activision. Now I got games like Diablo. Oh my God, one of my favorite games of all time. Now you got games like Call of Duty, first party. So cool. You know what? All right, makes sense. Here's my $24. I'm bought in still. But then all of a sudden, the price rises again. It goes up to $30. Now with tax, depending where you are, it's $32, maybe $35 a month now. You go from $14.99 to literally twice as much. I could have bought 2 Game Pass membership cards for the price of what one is right now. Shame on you, Xbox. Shame on you. And not just that, but you just literally giving away your secret sauce to everybody. It's almost like you told me you was exclusive with me and me alone, and you only gonna give the cookies to me, but then find out you're giving the cookies to everybody in the neighborhood. What's going on? Ken save her. She don't want to be saved. And that's what's happening right now. So now you're changing the directions because you don't have an identity. And that's the problem, Xbox. You got to figure out how to regain your purpose. You don't have one. You got plenty of first party titles that you can lean into and really flush out and make something magical happen. You can make something magical happen with Halo. You can make something magical happen with all these other all these other game titles. You know, like you really can lean into something and stop with these freaking 16-bit games. No one wants them. You know, the only I have shout out to Maddie, another YouTuber, but you know he's the only one I even hear that's championing these games, and I don't know if they're paying him to say this. Like, I don't have no idea. These games are terrible. My kids don't even want to play these games. Like, you know, but it's just like you don't have something to say come on this side. You don't say, like, nobody say, you know what, I'm gonna purchase the Xbox. Why? Because Xbox they offer like Game Pass. Okay, they offer Game Pass. That's cool. But for $30 a month, that's not worth the buy to me. Especially if most of the games are trash, right? And the other games are okay. They're subpar. They was okay for $14.99. $14.99 was a steal. $20 was okay, a bargain, but all right. But $30, you cannot sell me $30. You better give me EA games, full games, not trial. But I want to play Madden day one release as well, the entirety of the game. I want to play 2K as well, the entirety of the game. You can't give me. Matter of fact, bring Ubisoft back into the fold. Do something to make it feel like it's worth $30. Because you can't say, well, we're giving you our first party titles. No one wants them either. They're trash too. Like, you cannot raise the rent and not fix nothing in the house. You got to make it make sense, And it just becomes a cash grab. And that's what it became. You got so greedy, you start outsourcing to any and everyone that would have you. And now when you realizing that ain't working, what's next? What's next? You got Fallout, right? Fallout's a big, that's a big show. I mean, it's a great, this show is bringing people into the gaming community. People who've never played Fallout is picking up the consoles or picking up the controllers. They're buying the game. They're downloading the game. Okay, that's something. All right. Okay, we got something going. How about let's start another? Let's create another Fallout. Let's go to the drawing board and use this momentum and make us another Fallout game. Maybe a remaster, right? A reboot. I don't know, but there's something there. You can make something out of it. Bring back Left 4 Dead. You try to give us what is it? Something blood? Something, I don't know what you call it, dang on thing. I don't know what it is. It's I can't remember the name of it because it's so terrible. Back 4 Blood. Yeah, you bought Back 4 Blood, which is pretty much like a close clone of Left 4 Dead, right? But the essence wasn't there. It fell flat as well, right? Like, give us something tangible, Xbox, for the love of Christ. And I think a lot of the people that are in the higher places, that was like the Phil Spencers of the world who claimed he was a gamer and all the, I just feel like they're not really, right? They just CEOs, right? They got CEO experience, and that's it. They're not real gamers. They don't sit at home and game like, you know what, this would be a cool idea if we just brought this back, or we did this, or what about? No, you don't. You pick up day one game developers fresh out of school, fresh out of gaming school or whatever academy, whatever the hell they go to, and then say, you know what, you can put your game on my platform, and them games are booty, and they're making you look bad because you look like a glorified, you say you the strongest console, the greatest console, the most powerful console, but you're running 16-bit games. Those are the games that you're throwing at us. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, my iPhone give me better graphics than that. So again, if I can play your Xbox catalog on my iPhone, all I need is a great controller. They're attached to my iPhone. I have two, actually. I have a Backbone, and I forgot to name the other one, but it's both of them are fire under $100, and I turned my game into a handheld. I don't need the console. My graphics on my iPhone is incredible. Why would I need your console now? That console would sit on the shelf. If I got a PC Master Race, I obviously don't need your console. If I got the Steam Deck, I do not need your console. So you got to make that console a necessity. You got to make people want it, need it, gotta have it, can't live without it. PlayStation done it. Switch 2 done it. It's possible. I don't know. What y'all think? You think Xbox has lost its direction? You think Xbox is, I don't know. Like, I'm giving everything I got at it. I mean, chime in the comments below. Let me know. Am I wrong? Am I off tilter? Am I off tilt? Am I Am I just speculating? Am I just panicking? I don't know. But I just feel like at this rate, the consoles for the Xbox, maybe the next five years, is going to be a stink. It's going to be a little stick like a fire stick. You can stick into the side of your TV with a controller. Maybe $100, you get a controller and a little stick that go on the side of your TV. Boom, there you go, you got an Xbox. You know, you got backwards compatibility. That's literally one of your greatest feats, your greatest additions. Backward compatibility. Okay, again, that's what got me into it. Remember, Left 4 Dead. Okay, all right. And then you got oh my god, quick resume. Okay, quick resume. You can resume a game. That's okay, that's come on, man. I need that slice of life. I'm getting my butt kicked on one game. I can jump to something easy, or my son want to jump on something for the moment while I take care of some chores. I come back, jump back on my game. Don't lose pace. Don't lose lose where I was at. I continue where I was at. Boom, awesome. The mechanics are there. The groundwork is there. You got the mechanics. You got the graphic. You got the design. You got the controllers. You literally have the hardware. The hardware sells itself. You just got to produce something to go onto that hardware. And you have not done it. You catfished us all. So, Xbox, you got till next Friday to figure it out. It's your boy Chris Lee from Blerd Talk, and we back with a vengeance. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow my YouTube channel, Chris the Creator. That is KHRISDA Creator, as well as my Facebook under the Kickback Universe. All of my Kickback stuff will be there, as far as my Kickback podcast, my Blerd Talk, and my comedy content, my music. Anything you want to know about Chris Lee, be right there under that channel, under the Kickback Universe. Okay. You could also follow me under Chris Lee. That is my actual page. I don't mind the followers, you know. So please check me out. Follow me for more content. Peace.